started selling solar, there were no proposal softwares that were anything like we have today, right? And so it's amazing that we can go in and we can, basically input one electric bill or how much they paid for 1 month, and we can basically have it spit out a system. But the problem with that is reps, sales reps, myself, being one of those my entire life, right? We try to take the path of least resistance. And so what happens is a lot of times a sales rep will input one bill and they just expect that proposal tool to generate them an exact system. The problem is that we've done studies on over 1,000 systems, and we found that more than 30% of those systems are missized more than 30%.
Are those the SuperConnect boys in the house? Well, I see Jake. What's up, Jake?
What's going on, man? How are you doing?
Awesome. We need to see Eric too, bro. You got to show your pretty face, man.
Yes, I've got my camera on, guys. I don't know if you can see me, but
oh, can you see him, Josh?
No, not on my end. The voice sounds beautiful. The face.
That's weird. I'm showing them in the shot right now, guys. Let's see. Let me come out maybe, and I'll come back in.
It's all good. You work on that, and we'll talk to Jake. Oh, we can hear you too, though. It's all good. So what's going on, Jake?
How's it going, man? How's it going?
I know we were talking earlier, man, and you got some major updates with the SuperConnect, and we'll definitely get to that. But we like to have fun on the podcast, like to get to know you guys. Not everybody knows you still, Jake. I don't know if you know that or not. So there's a few people who don't know who you are. Would you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got actually connected with the SuperConnect?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in the solar industry for a better part of a decade, started selling solar and coaching teams 2013, and then a company have helped grow multiple different organizations. I can see
it's cutting out. There's a big clicking noise or something. I don't know whose audio that is.
Or is it still happening?
It's still happening. I think it's a microphone. Are you using a mic or?
No, I'm using the headphones. I'm gonna take these out. Is that better?
Sort of. Let's hear it for a sec.
Yeah, I think it's good now.
I can't hear anything.
Don't we love technology, boys?
Is that any better right there?
There's less clicking. I think it works.
There's no clicking, but you're a little further away, but you're good if you speak loud. Let's go.
Yeah, so, I've been the smart sales guys, some organizations, I was actually just as so first started, I was actually looking out a sales organization. That's that software at the time. Specific.
Hold on, Jake. I want to make sure because I'm not really hearing you. Eric, can you hear him?
Yeah, having a tough time hearing you, Jake.
So I don't want to miss that because I know there's gold in there. I don't want to miss any of that fire you're dropping right now. Why don't you work on your mic and we'll just Eric and we'll talk about his background real quick first. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Because Eric's here now. What's up, Eric? I see your face.
Awesome. You guys can see me. Yeah, we appreciate you guys so much. So Jake, as Jake's getting set up here and interrupting whenever you're ready, Jake. But just to give you a brief, overview of SuperConnect and how we started out was I started out with Titan in the industry, and then when I got serious about the sales process and improving that sales process for the sales work, I realized there's just a huge gap in this process. So of collecting utility bills, right? We just don't want one utility bill. We want the full exact data. So this is a quick tool that really reduces the sales cycle, helps the property owner with accuracy, as well as helping the solar organization provide that homeowner with an exact system size.
Yeah, and I've been using it since the beta days, and it was amazing when it first came on. It's just been improving every year since, and I know we're going to talk about some major updates right now. Jake, is your sound working?
Let me hear you, buddy.
Have you met Josh King before, Eric?
I have. I've been a big fan of Josh and what you guys been doing over there on the virtual solar cells, leading the market on the virtual side. Super, super important. And that's why I think it's just a great fit, for the virtual guys as well to utilize, SuperConnect in whatever market you're selling. So a lot of people don't know, but we actually service 750 plus utilities nationwide. Okay. So for anybody that's listening, no matter what market you guys are in, California, Texas, anywhere in the United States, Wyoming, Montana, we got you covered. Okay. Also, as a company, if you guys have a market where we don't have utilities there, upon our onboarding process, we'll get those utilities added for that solar organization as well.
And
I'm going just going into like beginning to end. What is SuperConnect? It's like we've skipped some steps here. All three of you guys are involved in it. I certainly know what it is, but let's just imagine someone has absolutely no idea what you guys do.
All right. So, so what we are is a toolbox, Josh, a tool and toolbox. It's a quick link. So as a solar rep, you actually have a link that you can text to the homeowner. You can email to the homeowner. Or if you're in person, door to door with the homeowner, you can pull up your SuperConnect link. Okay. Each rep has their own custom link. You send that to the property owner. Once they open the link, then they're actually going to select their utility. So they hit select their utility in the drop down. They'll enter their login credentials, and then they'll hit authorize. Okay, that allows our software to go in as a third party and sync those utility bills for the solar rep. So once that is synced, once the property puts authorize, you can go to your dashboard. You also receive a summary email as well that's got the exact usage totals. So you got your 12-month exact usage. You can go through in your dashboard and look at each month's data if you'd like. You can see the billing totals and also the kilowatt usage. Okay. Each month after you've seen that, you actually can click on the utility PDF bill corresponding to each month as well. So you get the 12-month PDF bills available. For any of those who are running an organization, when that Connect data actually comes back, we can also API that data directly into a CRM or whatever software suite the solar organization is using. Okay. So
can you guys?
Oh, awesome.
Go ahead. I was just seeing if you could hear me now.
Yep, you're good.
Okay,
so
awesome.
Take over in a second.
Yeah,
one thing I wanted to mention before I hand it over to Jake is, the method behind it is if we have to ask the property owner to do one step anyways to get one bill, right? You might as well have them do one step with SuperConnect. That way you can get all 12-month utility bills, save time, and save that owner a couple extra steps. Because even if they got the utility bill right there and it's a perfect situation, they go grab it to you, you screenshot it or whatever the case may be and put it into your proposal. The property owner still has to log in. Maybe they might have to download a bill, maybe email it. There's still multiple steps that the property owner really has to do, right? When we really honestly look at the process. So having them the ability to just do one click and get us the information we need and do the best job is awesome. So with that, I'll hand it over to Jake.
Awesome. Yeah. So, when it comes to, people like ourselves, we've been in the industry for a long time, right? So we might say, well, how hard is it to get an electric bill, right? Why do I need to, pay a software company to provide an electric bill that I can just ask a homeowner?
Yeah, that's like the number one question I usually get if they're not ready to join. Like, wait, why should I be?
Absolutely. So, from a sales rep perspective, right? from the rep that's actually, sending the link out and actually getting the data. As Eric mentioned, we're sending out, we're requesting information. A lot of times when that homeowner sends that bill, depending on what utility is, sometimes it shows us what we want to see and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it has 12 months of data. Sometimes it has 1 month. Sometimes it shows daily usage. So every utility is a little bit different. In addition to that, a lot of times the homeowner will send the wrong part, or maybe they send a picture that you can only see a part of the bill, right? A lot of times, if you're having them go in and download something, then they're sending it to you via email, via text message. So there's a few different things that we solve, right? Number one is just the ease of data acquisition, right? And that's, primarily what SuperConnect started on, right? And now that we've moved forward and we've created so many other ways to provide value to this space, it's almost like the ease of data collection is almost like, the smallest thing that we do, right? So the next thing is the organization of data, right? So again, rather than having sales reps track down a text message, emails that come from customers, right? And they're all over the place. They don't have to track that down. It's automatically in their dashboard. They can search by homeowner name. They can search by utility, and they have access to every single bill that they've ever pulled, as well as the sales organization or the EPC having access to that. So now from an ops perspective, you don't have your guys trying to get a utility bill for PTO or for financing and tracking it down, chasing down your sales rep. Everything's available right there inside of the system. In addition to that, what really becomes important is, when I started selling solar, there were no proposal softwares that were anything like we have today, right? And so it's amazing that we can go in and we can, basically input one electric bill or how much they paid for 1 month, and we can basically have it spit out a system. But the problem with that is reps, sales reps, myself, being one of those my entire life, right? We try to take the path of least resistance. And so what happens is a lot of times a sales rep will input one bill and they just expect that proposal tool to generate them an exact system. The problem is that we've done studies on over 1,000 systems, and we found that more than 30% of those systems are missized more than 30%. And so what happens is now you have a ton of homeowners who a rep said, hey, you're going to have a zero bill. And now you have upset homeowners 6-8 months down the road because they still have an electric bill and their system wasn't sized properly. It necessarily wasn't the rep lying to them or trying to mislead them. In some cases it is, right? But for the most part, it's just because the system was not sized properly. So when we put in 100% accurate data into the proposal tool, we actually get 100% accurate proposal out of that. So that's where the next, really, really important piece of SuperConnect comes in, is we massively reduce the liability, right? Especially for the EPC, right? An EPC has tons of dealers, sales orgs who are bringing in deals to them. If they know that what that sales org or those sales reps are selling is the properly sized system, then they don't have to worry about clawbacks. They don't have to worry about bad reviews from the customers. They don't have to worry about, going and giving refunds or adding panels to try to make it right. So we massively reduce the liability on the standpoint of the EPC, the installer, or again, the sales organization as well. In addition to that, when you have
just really quick on that one,
yeah,
and remember that point, because I think this is huge, and this brings up a bigger point, what's going on in the solar industry. From my perspective, yeah, there's some bad reps out there, right? But it's not all bad. But the bad reps are really hurting the whole solar industry. And if you keep blaming reps, you're thinking that one day there won't be any more bad reps. that's never going to happen, right? Like, you have to have a checks and balance system for the installers. They need to take the response. This is me preaching. I'm not saying this for everybody, but this is what I'm thinking. Like, the installers need to have a checks and balance system that fully make sure that no matter what the rep does, if they fucking say it's free or whatever they do, that the installer will catch it and make sure the homeowner is protected and taken care of. And they're signing a deal, a long commitment deal together that they have to be able to fulfill. And if they're not getting accurate information, then you're really guessing what that relationship is going to look like in the future. And, not to just make this a pitch fest about the SuperConnect, but to really, dive into like making sure installers are doing everything possible to make sure they're taking care of the homeowners, right?
Absolutely. And that's a huge thing, I mean, how many people have you, got on an initial call with and people think that solar is a scam, right? We all know that there's no way solar is a scam, right? It's an incredible opportunity for the majority of people, as long as, you know, the numbers work out and as long as it's a good fit. Like, it's an incredible investment, right? But we have that kind of, you know, tarnishedness that's happened on the industry as a whole, where, you know, it's like there's been a lot of, you know, again, bad actors, but also people that just didn't know how to size the system properly, or relied on, you know, genability inside of a proposal tool to build that out properly. And
Or they're
again,
trying to make more commissions. There is bad reps out there who are just making this look like, let me get this thousands of dollars. Let me get 12,000 instead of 10,000. You know, like they're just trying to get, and they're doing offsets and they're doing smaller systems, and the goal to make more money. So that there is those bad apples out there too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and this helps regulate those things internally. You know, we just, like, for example, the RSA, right? And bringing regulation inside of the industry. It's like, if we can regulate ourselves and we can do things the right way, we don't have to become regulated by external forces, right? But if we continue to, you know, go down that path of, you know, acting like it's the Wild West, eventually there's going to be crackdowns, you know, from the top down. So it's one of those things where it's like, we understand, you know, we know that you can still provide a very legitimate investment to people. You can still provide a high level of quality and service without having to, you know, shift the numbers to make it look better, right? There's, you know, there's a huge thing in the industry now, which was unheard of when I started in this, which, you know, now everybody sells on payments, and it's all about saving people money from day one, you know, and they're basically just giving things away. And nothing wrong with saving people money from day one, but it's taken the whole, you know, sales ability out of the conversation. And essentially you have just a lot of product presenters, right?
Yeah.
Who are trying to make the numbers work and trying to, you know, finesse the numbers because they think the only way they can sell a solar system is if the payment's less, right? Yeah. And, you know, that's just a lack of training, and that's a lack of, you know, responsibility on people like ourselves of putting that information out there, you know, to these sales reps. And, you know, a lot of guys were trained by, you know, some manager 2 or 3 years ago, and they've just been repeating and doing the same things over and over again. So, you know, maybe that manager was doing things wrong, or maybe they weren't, you know, trained properly, and it becomes a snowball effect. So, you know, our goal is to, you know, make sure that these reps are educated on the importance of accurate data, why it's so important to size these systems properly, you know, and in addition to that, it also affects their paycheck, right? If you can't go back to any of your customers 6-8 months down the road and get referrals from them, right, because they're not happy with their system, you know, you're missing out on a ton of money as well. So, you know, when you can size a system properly and you can go back to that homeowner and you know that they're satisfied, you know, it helps everybody in the process, from the sales rep to the organization to the installer to the customer themselves. And so, you know, again, we're a tool in the tool belt to be able to make this easier, to make it more organized, and to reduce the liability and create a better customer experience with going solar.
No, I love that. And I cut you off because I wanted to get that thought out there. But you were still going on with this addition too, or did you finish your thought on that?
Yeah. So what I was going to say is, you know, now with a lot of the changes in utility, right now we have, you know, NEM 3.0 in California, right? There's tons of other markets that are moving in that direction. And so we not only need annual data, but we also need interval data, right? And if we're building out, let's say we're building out a system in California, right? 100% offset system 2 years ago versus 100% offset system now are two completely different things. And so if you don't have that interval data, first of all, you don't even know what to sell, because you have to be able to put a battery in these systems now, and you have to be able to program that battery properly to be able to exchange energy in the way that's going to make it.
And I don't mean to interrupt you again. I just have a tendency to do that. But talk about what that means.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, we may know what it means because, you know, we've done this for years. But some people are watching, what the fuck is interval data? Just kind of layman's terms.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, your average data or your annual data, right, is just showing you a total monthly data usage, right? So we used, you know, 2,000 kilowatt hours this month, right? Interval data is going to break that down into a more granular data set. So based on the utility, right, maybe they have 30-minute intervals or 1 hour intervals, or even sometimes 15-minute intervals. And so what that's showing us is now we know the time of day that there's more consumption. We know the time of day that where the production is at, where the consumption is at. And so now we can actually go in and do some energy arbitrage, right? We can make sure that your battery is charged, and it can offset during, peak demand hours. It can offset during certain times of the day versus, right, just having a backup battery set in, or having a battery that's set up and it's just, calculated for standard hours. We can actually tailor that system to a specific home and to a specific homeowner, which is going to allow them to get the most out of the money that they're spending for the system.
That's true. Everybody thinks everybody's the same. They work 9 to 5, they get home from work, and no, a lot of people are different. They work virtually, or they're leaving their home for a month at a time, or, so be able to customize it based on their home has to be huge. And that's only California, really, you're seeing it being used, or is it going throughout the country yet?
No, so there's about 13 other states that are kind of moving in that direction. Everybody's kind of at a different phase. California is probably the furthest down that path, and NEM 3.0. Everybody else, there's people who are kind of in like a 2.0, 2.5, area. And then, we still have our specific markets that are still, straight net metering, one-to-one net metering, and there's, no issues there. Easiest places to sell. But again, it's, I've seen companies that I'm consulting for that, they're like, hey, we just want to focus on these, one-to-one net metering places. And it's like, in my mind, it's like, why would you not want to, master your craft? Why would you not want to explore how to operate in those places and how to best serve customers in those places versus trying to avoid them, right? And so I think that it's really important that, as sales reps, as business owners, right, we're moving with the times, right? We're not getting caught in, a singular mindset of this is how things used to be and trying to stay in that mindset and stay in markets or, stay in certain types of systems that's how it's built. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen dozens and dozens of companies out there that just tell their people, don't sell a battery. We don't make much money on that. Don't worry about adding that in because there's not a lot of profit in it. And it's like, okay, well, what's best for the homeowner, right? What's best for them? In some situations, a battery is not best for them, right? Sometimes it is just an added expense, but in a lot of cases, it really does benefit them. And especially in moving into these different utility regulations, it's not only something that's suggested, but it's mandatory, right, to be able to make the system work in the way that you pitch it.
Well, batteries are super important if they have off-peak and peak hours, right? Besides the backup, so people don't get batteries for backup. That's like the cherry on top. And you're saying there's 13 states that have peak and off-peak hours right now? Is that right?
Yeah, so they're moving into. There's actually a conversation that we have recorded with Everett from Stores Power that's available on our YouTube. People can go check that out. There's a little bit more detailed information about that. But yeah, there's quite a few states that are moving into that. And like I said, all of them are in kind of different phases of where that's going. But there's definitely a lot of utility updates that are either in process right now or are coming right around the corner. So something that people need to be proactive about, right? We all seen what happened. There were a few people who were prepared for what was coming with NEM 3.0, but the market, the industry in general was not really prepared. And so we've seen how that kind of affected a lot of people during that time. And so, if you can pre-prepare for those things and be proactive about the changes that are coming, then you can tailor your business and tailor the way that you're selling, to be able to serve your customers better.
I was waiting for Josh to jump in. He usually jumps at this point.
Well, I was going to say it's super effective to have. So I'm just going to mute you, Jake. There's some echo going on. It's super effective to have usage data, interval data, especially for utilities that have time of use tiers. Florida, California is a big one. So there's so much savings that aren't being shown to customers. When you're talking about solar or energy efficiency or anything like that reduces consumption. And I'm still waiting for a really cool tool that pulls the customer's interval data, lines it up with the time of use rates and the tiers. They're all different terminology, but basically you have usage between 4 to 8 p.m. You're going to pay double. Puts that together and says, because you're no longer going to be in this tier, or we're going to do X to make sure that you're not in this tier, you're actually not only going to reduce your consumption by this amount, which saves you X, it's also going to reduce your bill by an extra 25% because you're not in another tier. There's so much savings that aren't being shown on the table right now, and interval data is an integral part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple integration partners, whether it be from the battery side of things or from the home improvement side of things, that are working on using this data to build out some things like that. So I would say that this coming year, you guys will see some tools like that are able to, relay a lot of this data in a much more comprehensible form to the homeowner and allow the sales reps to present that without them having to learn a ton of this stuff, right? We've been doing this for so long that to talk about energy efficiency, when I started selling solar in Texas, right, we were always on the energy efficiency. I mean, we were always taking, how do we reduce consumption as much as possible from the beginning? It was always, air conditioners, windows, whatever it might be, smart thermostats and insulation, blown in insulation. We were always taking those steps first because our initial part of our pitch was, why would you put solar on a leaky home, right? We would do an energy evaluation inside the home. And it's kind of wild to me that that's just now, kind of making its way to the forefront in the industry, just because that's how we've been doing things for so long. But yeah, I mean, from that perspective, there will be some really cool tools, I believe, this coming year that are going to help relay that to the customer without the sales rep having to go and learn, a decade worth of understanding about energy efficiency.
Yeah. How long does it take for you guys? Because I'm guessing you work directly with utilities where you can. Is every single connection like a custom API?
So right now we have 750 utilities nationwide. We actually just released a new feature, which I'll talk to you guys about in just a few minutes. But essentially, for the top utilities now, we have instant connections. So you're talking about like 1 minute or less, these connections are done. So what happens is, our process, if there's a utility that we don't have, which, like I said, I think we're at close to 780 now. If there's a utility we don't have, you simply send in a request to support@thesuperconnect.com, and we can have that utility added for you within 24 hours. Now, most of those utilities across the board, right, our average connect time is going to be somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. With those new connects, they're less than a minute, and we're adding new utilities to that list every day. We've got a long list to work through, but every day we're adding new utilities to that list.
Do they have to be part of an existing program or have an open API to get integrated?
No. So that's actually what's really cool about our software. That's what we've created, is essentially, we found out that there's, out of the 780 utilities, there's maybe 3 utilities that have an open API. So that's what our software does, is it essentially makes it appear to the user as if it's an open API, right? So we essentially go in, we get the data, and then we provide that. And then again, that data goes directly into the dashboard. So every user can have their dashboard where that data goes in, but we can also API that to any other system. So we have clients that import that data into their CRM, into their proposal tools. We have lots of different, integrations for other types of software, as well as we have a few companies, our larger enterprise clients, that have all of their own internal software that they use. And so we API that directly in for them, so they're not even logging into the dashboard.
Yeah, definitely the idea, is to just save the time on the whole process, from that utility bill collection, even to like a rep taking the time to enter in each month's, data. We want to streamline that whole process, just automate that whole process. So we're excited. We were very excited to get the time down on Instant Connects for the virtual community. You guys are on the phone, closing deals. So yeah, we're very excited to launch those top utilities. And we can post that as well, what those utilities are, just for anybody watching. If you're serving in that market, we do have the only trial right now in the market. You can get a free trial through SuperConnect is annualusage.com. Okay. So definitely go to annualusage.com. You guys are listening to this, want to try it out. And then also we can get you the list of utilities where we're the fastest in performing.
We don't have to go over like exactly what it costs, but obviously it's not free. This is an amazing service. It's going to come to a cost, and there's different payment options depending from reps to installers. What is more of your focus? Like, there's thousands of reps out there, right? And not as many installers, but where's like your is it installers where they should be the ones getting the service, or is it the reps who should be doing it on their end?
Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely a value proposition for everybody across the board, right? There's value there for the individual rep. There's value there for the sales organization. There's even a higher level of value there for EPCs and installers, again, because of reducing that liability for them. So, we have two different payment models or billing models. One of those is just a subscription-based billing. So you essentially pay for a certain number of connects. We have packages starting all the way at starter packages for individual reps that are, just trying this out, maybe running 5-10 connects, all the way up into the thousands of connects per month. Now, if you're a EPC or a sales organization that's doing more than 100 installs per month, we also have an enterprise level model where essentially you're not paying for any connects up front and you're getting an unlimited amount of connections. It's just paid for on your sales. So it's put in as an adder into your sales. So the price per connect comes out to be about the same. It's going to be dependent based on volume. But the price per connect comes out about the same on the enterprise level as it is for the subscription model. It's just that when you have a large organization, you're running thousands and thousands of these a month, right? Rather than we know how much of cash flow can be an issue in this business. So this just allows you to pay these out as you get paid by the installer for your sales.
Yep. So just to clarify, you got multi packages running from $10 a connect down based on volume. So it starts at $10 a connect down based on volume. And then like Jake was saying, the adder format, if you qualify for that program, we'll cover the cost of the connects for your organization, and we're partnering with you, relying on your close rate, and just get paid on the closed deals. So it's a great way to be able to take SuperConnect off as an overhead cost for solar organizations. We just released that at the beginning of the year, and had very good success with that with organizations. So excited about that.
Absolutely. And then we also have some integration models. So if there's anybody watching this that, is part of a design proposal tool or part of a finance company or whatever it might be, we also have integration deals as well. So the way that they can integrate this and then either do a pass through and charge their customer, we also have kickbacks that can go to them based on them bringing in business for us. And so there's lots of ways to multiple ways to skin a cat when it comes to integrations, right? So we have some integration partners right now that when they bring in business, whether it's through a proposal, whether it's through a design, right, and they can actually have the SuperConnect data directly inside of there as a button that can then download the data or upload the data directly into that proposal. And so they're bringing in connects that way, which we can share in the profit with them. So as a user, again, subscriptions or the enterprise model, as an integration or a back-end partner, we have some revenue share options there as well.
Yeah, the instant connects and the enterprise model is huge. That's but the biggest thing I've noticed people get really surprised is when I tell them it's nationwide and it's covering 99.5% of all the utilities. But let's talk about the negative. Which 30 utilities or whatever number it is, which ones are you not able to do? Is it like South Dakota, or is there any major utilities that we should be aware of that can't connect?
Yeah, so we can connect anybody. The only utilities that we don't have are just users that, utilities that we don't have any users that have requested them yet, right? So the only lack of utilities that we have are just utilities that we currently don't have anybody that has ran a connect through. Like I said, anybody nationwide that you want, you send in an email to support@thesuperconnect.com. You just request that utility and we get it onboarded for you within 24 hours.
Yeah. I know that this feels like a SuperConnect pitch or ad, but we're just excited. I'm just excited about the updates and what you guys are doing. Besides the SuperConnect, I know Jake, you're do a lot of trainings, and you're offering some. Last time I talked, there were some classes you're offering. What are you doing with that? Are you still doing that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So the solar domination system, we have
solar domination. How can I forget that name?
yeah. So we have a school community that you can join. There's some courses inside of there for some sales 101, some basic sales psychology, things of that nature, and then the solar domination system actual full course is inside of there as well. So there's courses you can access at no additional cost to the community, and then there's paid courses inside of there as well. Really my philosophy behind sales is that, if you have a product or service that you believe is going to put somebody in a better position than you found them, then your leads are not opportunities, but rather a responsibility. So it's not an opportunity for you to close someone. It's your responsibility to close them. If you know that you're going to put somebody in a better position than you found them, then if you don't close them, you're just doing them a disservice. And so, a lot of the sales training that I offer is a lot more on the psychology and philosophy side of things versus the kind of technical things. I feel like this industry is full of a lot of people who are going through a presentation and kind of scrolling through a digital proposal and basically just presenting products.
Them when they're done.
Yeah.
Here you go. Let me know when you're ready.
And I think that that's one major mistake that's made, is that people aren't taking people through a step-by-step psychological process, right? And again, if I know I'm going to put you in a better position than I found you, if I said, "Hey Joe, let's go skydiving," and you said, "Man, listen, I don't trust planes, parachutes, pilots. I'm good. I'm not interested," right? But I spent the next couple weeks, right, convincing you in whatever way that I needed, right? Whatever type of persuasion techniques or tactics or whatever that I wanted to use, right? But I got you to go, and we come out of the plane, we're screaming, we get to hit the ground, and you come running over to me and give me a big hug, say, "Man, thank you so much. I would have never done that if you didn't convince me to do it." Right? Well, the thing is a lot of people, we've all heard people say no, and it doesn't mean N-O, it's K-N-O-W, right? Because they don't know enough information. If I have information that you don't have, and I know I can put you in a better position than I found you, then it's my job, it's my responsibility, right, to make sure that you make that decision. So technically, the rep should be making a decision for the homeowner in a way that they're so comfortable with, they're convinced they made the decision themselves. And they can do that ethically because they know they're putting somebody in a better position than they found. Right. And so I think that starts off with, again, knowing you're putting somebody in a better position than you found them. And that starts off with accurate data, right? If you build a system that's 100% accurate and you know that you're going to put these people in a better position, then you can go in and, confidently make that sale and close that business. So, yeah, I mean, from the sales side, if anybody, if you go to just school.com, it's SKOOL.com. You can just type in solar domination system. People can join there. There's tons of content in there.
Yo, Eric, man, Jake is not only killing at the SuperConnect and he's doing sales training. What else are you doing, bro? You just doing SuperConnect or anything else on the side, or what else you up to, bro?
Just we're focused on support and enabling the solar industry on this accurate data. Yes, it's been a fun mission, guys. Fun mission. I remember when we first started out, we only had 2 utilities in Florida, so a lot of growth.
John, I see a question ready there. You want to ask it?
Yeah, well, I was going to go back to SuperConnect. Are you guys paying a lot of attention to the self-service apps and as the market matures and people start taking more action online? Because data sets and data systems like this are going to be super integral to get an instant proposal and quotes on the front end. Have you guys seen any applications in that space?
Yeah, we have a couple people right now that are doing AI proposals that are working on the integration with SuperConnect. Mm-hmm. So I think there's, one primarily that stands out. There's a couple other that are in that process. I know that one's a little further along than the rest. But yeah, I mean, it's a great tool for that. If there's anybody who, again, is listening to this that's building out any type of AI proposals, instant proposals, or, a self-service type of funnel, this is something that allows you to collect all that data without having to reach out to the homeowner, without having to, again, get that PDF file submitted, right? Especially when you can API this over, right? That's a step that if you're building out something that's a self-service model, If somebody's just texting in a picture of a bill, right, then there's going to have to be a manual process to go in and take that information, put it into a design. So, having this information, it definitely streamlines that process. And I think that things are moving in that direction more and more for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of companies, Josh, to answer that too, is they'll take their SuperConnect link and actually embed it in their lead flow, right? So in the lead flow where you have a spot where a customer can upload their utility bill, once again, if we're going to have the property owner do one step anyways, let's have them SuperConnect it, right? So embed your SuperConnect link there as opposed to just having the customer upload one bill. And then that way we can extract the data. So yeah, you have the freedom to embed links wherever in lead flows, websites, anything like that.
One other thing I'd like to point out is we also do training with all of our clients. So once somebody has onboarded and set up their system, we will train them on, first of all, identifying where is best for them to use this in the process, right? We have companies that use this again in their lead funnels. We have companies that use this on the phone to set appointments. We have guys that are using this at the door or at Home Depot, right? So we find out where is the best place for them to utilize this software. And then we'll train them on the customer compliance, right? Especially, Josh, I'm sure in virtual side of things, right? We're really just trying to get customers compliant with our process, right? The more we can get them compliant, the stickier that appointment is, the easier it is to close. So when we can get them involved with our process and we can get them doing something that we've requested them to do, right? A lot of small yeses and a lot of small actions lead up to a larger action, lead up to a larger yes. So it's just an easier way to get people compliant with your process, as well as streamline everything more.
Yeah. Speaking of training, as part of the training to help the reps know how to ask, you have to teach reps how to ask for a bill, right? So part of the training, because I'm sure if you don't ask it the right way, homeowners feel like, I'm not giving my password to you, or they don't want to do it themselves. I'm not giving this person, is that part of the training? And is that something they, reps should worry about? Is that a big objection they should be getting?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's definitely part of the training. When it comes to getting that data from somebody, right, we typically always train people on giving it as an option, right? The more idea or illusion that people have of choice, right, the easier it is to move somebody in a specific direction. 100%. So if you know that I can collect a picture of the bill or I can SuperConnect, right, but then it's easier to lead them there. So you typically, let's just say it's an appointment setter on the phone, right? They can say, hey, if you'd like to go and print out a copy of your bill and take a picture of that and send it over to us, you can do that. Or I can send you a direct link that you can actually click on, select your utility provider, and it'll actually submit all the data over to us within an instant, right? And so there's, the way that you word things. Also, in that initial customer form that they fill out to do the authorization, it shows at the bottom that there's a data guard. So it shows that their information is kept private. It's not going to share their password or anything with anybody else. And before we hop off, I can show you a quick demo of what that looks like and what the customer actually sees, as well as what it looks like when it comes back into your dashboard. Perfect. So this is your dashboard. This is just a kind of a test account. But you guys can see there some things that aren't in here again because it's a test account. But again, you have your custom link. These links here are directly what the individual rep is going to send out. If you have a user account, again, all of these links are custom to that user. If you have an admin account, then you'll see all of the links that come back from everybody that's a user within that account. The only difference between the monthly and the interval data request is that the interval also includes the interval data. So the the interval data will include everything that's in the monthly request, but it will also include it will also include the interval data. So what the homeowner sees when this gets sent out, and again, this can go, you can directly email it from here. It can be copy and pasted into a text message, however you'd like to send it out. This is what the homeowner is going to see. So the homeowner is then going to just start typing in their utility company. So let's just say it's Tico, for example. They'll select that. And then this is where they enter their username and password. Now, let's say, for example, you're dealing with, maybe an older client. Maybe they forgot their password, or maybe they've never even created an online account, right? We can keep everybody inside of our flow and they can actually go here to forgot password. As long as they've selected the utility provider, it will actually take them directly to the forgot password, forgot username, or register account for that specific utility. So
no excuses, baby.
Yeah. So again, it's super, super easy to walk people through. For somebody who's never done this, right? And they're like, oh, well, what if somebody doesn't have, their password? And you say, well, it'll take you there to reset. They might look at that as an extra step. But again, it's just as simple to do that as it is to try to send somebody to this website, have them log in, have them download the information, have them try to search where the usage data is at, where the billing data is at, download those bills, send them over to you. Or even somebody just trying, especially if you're dealing with somebody older, sometimes just trying to get them to snap a picture of the bill and send it is no more difficult than than setting up an account for them. So just to give you an idea, this is going to be a test here. I'm going to show you guys how this works. So
we're gonna do an instant one, Joe.
Yeah, we'll do one live for you. So basically, you're just going to select the utility provider, the username and password, and click authorize. They'll put the email in here. That way the homeowner gets a copy of that email that goes through. And then that's going to submit right there. Okay. Now, once that submits, they're just going to get this little authorizing page. Again, this is a test account, so it looks a little bit different. That will usually spin for them and let them know, that is happening. Now, this is another update that we have within SuperConnect, is that we have real-time authentication. So if for some reason a homeowner puts in the wrong password, it's going to let them know right away that an error has occurred or that the credentials were not correct. Nice. Now, it used to be, as you know, Joe, if they entered in that wrong password, then they would have to wait for the request, right? It would have to come back, and then we would have to then email them and let them know that the login credentials were invalid. Okay, so now that's a real-time authorization. So right then when they send out that link, when they have that homeowner click that link and they have that done, they're going to know right then and there if it was successful. They're going to know right then and there if they had the wrong login credentials. That way they can go to remedy that issue.
Boom.
All right, so as you can see here, we've got a success there. That's going to bring us over into our dashboard. We will refresh this here. Oh. All right, and then you'll see right here that this is pending. Now, this status pending right here, that's kind of a safety feature to make sure that the connection has processed. That way it doesn't send the email out to the homeowner until it's actually processed. But you can go in here and you'll see that we had a successful credential verified. And let's see.
So it starts updating it right away as opposed to waiting for everything to finish and then email it to you.
Exactly. Yeah. And real quick, just to show you this, you can go through here again and you'll be able to see, again, this is a test account, so there's not account holders on all these. But you'll see the account holder's name, you'll see, the energy provider, and then the user of the person who actually pulled the connect, right? And you can check that out. And also, you have your electric providers. This is actually a new feature as well. You don't even have to actually send the email anymore if you want to add a provider. You can actually just go in here to create provider. You're going to put the URL of that electric provider, the state. Okay. And then you can actually submit that directly to there, or you can send over an email directly to support at the SuperConnect and add it in that way. But again, you'll be able to see all the utilities that we have here. Right now we have it's even more than 780. So we got 794 utilities currently.
Damn.
All right. So when you go back here into the account, right, you're gonna let me see. Is this a Duke Energy? I'm wondering if this is a valid one, Eric. Let's see. This one might not be let me run another one real quick.
So the point of it is, though, is instead of having to wait 10, 15 minutes normally, it'll actually update. It'll still say pending because they don't want it until it's fully done, send the email. And in the meantime, you'll get it will it slowly populate itself, or will it all be filled
No,
out?
it all comes at once.
Oh, okay.
So just to kind of give you an idea, let me go in here and show you what it's going to look like when it comes through.
Yeah.
So you're going to go in here and you're going to see that you have all of the, let's see, this is correct. So you'll come in here and you'll see the email, the name that's attached on the account. You'll be able to verify all the lead information. So you see that the street name, the address, everything. This is your aggregated summary. So you're going to see, actually, this is a commercial account. Let me see one second.
Well, that's good to know too. So this works for commercial also, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So these are commercial account. I'm trying to get one that just has numbers that look a little bit more like your typical home, so that this makes sense to the guys who are looking at it.
Yeah.
All right. So we see here that we're able to match that up. We also have down here that we pulled 12 months of statements. We see the total usage for the 12 months, the average monthly usage, total charges for the year, and average monthly. When you scroll down here, if the guys are manually entering this into the proposal tool, if they haven't done an API connection, they can simply scroll over each individual month so that they know the exact usage for that month. Again, this helps you with if you're inputting those individually, you can put in the actual usage amount. Then when you come down here, you're actually going to see all of the bills, and this is your actual downloadable PDF files for your bills. So you actually go in here and you can see the actual bill itself, and it'll pop up and populate the entire PDF downloadable bill for you. So that can be sent over for your PTO, for your financing, or whatever it is that you might need. Now, as you can see, this is back to the one that we just submitted. So as we were doing that connect filled. So you can see here that you now have that connect, the amount of statements we pulled, total usage, and then all of the individual months, and then the downloadable PDF files there as well.
Oh, it's looking dope, man. This instant connections is one of the things that I would everybody wanted to have improved, because the faster you get it, the more you can get to the next step. So that's amazing. And then the enterprise is huge too, because a lot of companies don't want to pay for connects that aren't going anything further. You're spending a lot of money on things that are not actually happening, like you said, cash flow. So to be able to do that is huge too. What else, bro? Like, before you guys bounce, and appreciate you guys getting on and spending your time with us. What's up, man? Anything else we should look forward to? Any cool updates that's happening in the future?
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of the exciting updates are coming from a lot of other integrations and things that we have. So integrations with proposal tools, with other software that's out there, as well as some of the things that guys are working on, from battery calculators to a lot of the things that are utilizing this data to be able to provide a better overall experience for the reps themselves. And again, we think that there's all this talk, right, in the solar industry about where things are going, and we're kind of at this tipping point, right? And I think that this is something that people can get behind, that can, again, help them from a sales rep perspective, but really help the industry overall, right? Help people, again, with that checks and balances, like you talked about, of making sure that we're providing a product and service that that homeowners are happy with, and that it's doing exactly what their pitch is doing. So we also have tons of updates inside of SuperConnect. So again, we just launched this V2. We have the instant connections. There's more and more updates that are coming. We're working right now on being able to get rate schedule data to the homeowners. We also have some AI tools that are coming in, to where if a sales rep wants to find out about a net metering program for a specific utility, they'll actually be able to call in, and the AI will walk them through the net metering program for that specific utility. Homeowners or sales reps can call in and get information about the utility providers or about SuperConnect. We'll also probably beginning of next week, there's actually going to be an AI chat that's available, a voice chat that's directly available on our website. So if people are curious about SuperConnect, they want to come in and ask questions about how it works, we can access that as well. And we'll get you a copy of an embedded code that you can put on annualusage.com as well. So that people have questions, they can come in and ask the AI, and you'll be able to walk them through any questions they have.
Hell yeah. This is Jake Ryan, Eric Protic, boys of the SuperConnect. If you guys didn't hear, the only free trial right now with the SuperConnect is enlightening.com. So make sure you guys jump on that. Josh, any last questions you want to ask you guys before they bounce?
Sounds good, man. It's exciting stuff. Let's see what happens over the next few months and all these new integrations.
Yeah, excited to be here with you guys. Appreciate you guys having us. And not just the only free trial right now, the only free trial ever for the rest of SuperConnect is through annualusage.com. So if you want that trial, make sure you go over there to snag that. And then anybody who has, if you're at an enterprise level account, you can go to our website. There's a link there to schedule that enterprise call. So we can hop on, talk to you about your volume, and get you specific pricing for that enterprise account.
Yeah, once you start using the SuperConnect, it's hard to go back. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Let's go. I appreciate you guys being on here. This has been the SolarPulse Podcast with Josh and Joe. Peace.
See you guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Have a good one.